Junior Reading Tutor Level 3. Section 1. 1. Vanilla was once one of the rarest and most expensive spices. This was because vanilla fruit only grew in and around Mexico. Many people brought vanilla plants to their own countries, but no insects pollinated them. Scientists tried to find a solution to this problem, but they all failed. Finally, in 1841, a 12-year-old boy named Edmund Albius invented a method for pollinating vanilla plants. The boy was a slave on a farm on an island near Africa. The farmer owned some vanilla plants. However, they never grew any fruit. One day, the farmer noticed a fruit on one of the plants. Albius proudly explained that he had pollinated it using his thumb and a stick. Amazed, the farmer made Albius share the method with others. Eventually, thanks to Albius's method, vanilla became common around the world. Without Albius, delicious chocolate, ice cream, and cola would be too expensive to buy.
Have you ever noticed the grooves on the end of a toothpick? How about the small bumps on the F and J keys on a computer keyboard? Few people use these tiny features, but they were created with useful functions. The grooves on a toothpick make the end easier to break off. If you break this piece off, people will know the toothpick was used and won't reuse it. Furthermore, the broken end can be used as a stand for your toothpick. This keeps your toothpick away from dirty tabletops, so it lets you keep using it while you eat. The bumps on the F and J keys help people type more quickly. These keys are on the home row of the keyboard. This is where your fingers should be placed when you start typing. Therefore, when you feel the bumps with your index fingers, you can begin typing without having
3.
to look down.
Look at the picture below. You can see a man with an unusual hairstyle. That is Kairos, the god of opportunity in Greek myths. He has long hair on the front of his head, yet the back of his head is completely bald. So, when he approaches, you can easily catch him by grabbing his long hair. However, once he passes, there is nothing to hold on to. You may also notice that he has wings on his feet. This means he comes and goes very quickly. His appearance teaches you what to do when an opportunity is in front of you. You need to grab it right away. This may seem difficult or dangerous. However, if you are afraid and hesitate even for a moment, it will pass you by and
4.
fly away.
Long ago, people in many British towns played a game with a ball. The goal was to kick or carry the ball to a particular place. The teams could use as many players as they wanted in a game. This game eventually became a sport called football. each community developed their own form of the sport. In the early 19th century, football was divided into two major categories in British public schools. One type allowed the players to carry the ball with their hands. This sport later became rugby. In the other type, which became soccer, players kicked the ball. Both were introduced to North America, but North Americans enjoyed the rugby-type game more. As time went by, they changed some of the rules, and the game became what is called American football today. The three sports originated from the same game, but each one developed in its
Section 2.
own way.
1. In sports like basketball, one of the most exciting plays is the no-look pass. A player makes a no-look pass when he looks in one direction but passes the ball in another. The defenders think the player is going to pass the ball in the direction he is looking, so they are easily fooled. However, if chimpanzees played basketball, we would rarely see successful no-look passes. This is because the white parts of other primates' eyes are so small that we can't easily see their eye movements. On the other hand, the white parts of humans' eyes are large. This allows us to see where a person's eyes are pointed. When we see what a person is looking at, we can guess what they are thinking and what they plan to do next. This helps us work together more easily. That's probably why human eyes evolved to have large
2.
white parts.
Do you know how many bones are in your body? If you are teenage or older, you probably have 206. However, when you were born, you had a lot more bones. A newborn baby has about 300 bones. Surprisingly, the more you grow, the fewer bones you have. As a baby grows, some bones join together and become one bone. For example, a baby's skull has many bones. This protects the baby's head when it gets pressed and squeezed during childbirth. However, over time, the skull slowly grows together. This also happens in other places, such as the spine. Because of these changes, the number of bones continues decreasing until you have about 206. Don't be too sad. Even though the number has decreased, your bones have surely
3.
gotten stronger.
Because of their beautiful feathers, flamingos are one of the most recognizable birds on Earth. However, they are born with gray feathers. What changes their color? Adult flamingos are pink, orange, or white, depending on the type of food that they eat. Some of their favorite foods are small sea creatures and plants such as shrimp and seaweed. These foods contain a special pigment that gives plants and animals their color. After flamingos eat these foods, this pigment becomes a pink or orange color and then gets stored in the flamingo's legs, bills, and feathers. The more flamingos eat these sea creatures and plants, the pinker or more orange they become. So, you can see more colorful flamingos near the sea than near lakes. Many other foods that people eat, like carrots and watermelons, also contain this pigment. However, people do not eat enough of them to change their skin color. What
4.
a relief!
Human tears are made up mostly of water. However, if you have ever tasted your own tears, you know that they taste salty. This is because tears contain sodium chloride, which is the chemical name for salt. Of course, tears mainly have a salty taste. Interestingly, however, the taste of our tears changes a little depending on why we cry. When we are angry, for example, we open our eyes wide and blink less. This makes the water in our eyes dry up faster, so the tears become saltier. Tears of sadness, on the other hand, taste slightly sour. Lastly, when you are happy, your tears become a little sweeter than other types of tears. Unfortunately, you should not expect your happy tears to be as sweet as candy. Only very sensitive tongues can tell they are a little sweeter. 1. Some people wait in long lines just to ride a roller coaster one time. Professional amusement park ride testers, on the other hand, get paid to go on as many as 100 rides per day. But there's more to the job than that. Testers must check that all the rides in the amusement park are clean, safe, and working properly. It's their job to make sure that visitors have the most fun and exciting experience possible. What they test includes every single ride, from child-friendly ones to the most terrifying roller coasters. On the days that they test the roller coasters, it's probably not a good idea for them to eat a big breakfast. Of course, most testers love their job. Many children wish they could spend all their time in amusement parks. For amusement park ride testers, that dream
2.
is a reality.
Pepsi and Coca-Cola have been rivals for a long time. Some people even refer to their marketing and advertising competition as the Cola Wars. At the center of the competition, there are brand logos and slogans. These are used to represent the identity of each brand. With that in mind, look at the posters below. At first, they seem normal, but look closer. They combine the logos and slogans of two different brands. The big logos are even composed of small copies of each other's logos. The artist, Stefan Asafti, calls them brandversations, a mixture of the words brand and conversations. He was inspired by the way rival brands interact. Even though they are competing, rival brands help each other to create a unique identity. So he tried to show this in his posters. Take a look at them again.
3.
What do you think?
A woman walks into a cafe and orders 2 cups of coffee. "One for me," she says, and the other suspended. This idea of suspending coffee started more than a century ago in Naples, Italy. It is a simple concept. A person with enough money pays for an extra coffee. This coffee is later given to someone who cannot afford one. These two people never actually meet. No one can be sure whether the cafe will give away all the suspended coffees. Therefore, the concept is based on trust in others. It also shows that people take care of their neighbors. By simply spending a little money, people can help form a stronger community. Now, this great tradition has spread and is practiced in many countries, including Korea. Other kinds of food, like pizza and sandwiches, are also
4.
being suspended.
Happiness is a common goal around the world. In fact, some national governments are working to make their citizens happier. The United Arab Emirates, Bhutan, and India, for example, have official ministries of happiness. In the UK, on the other hand, the government is taking a slightly different approach. Rather than promoting happiness, it is fighting unhappiness. The Prime Minister noted that loneliness affects millions of British people. So she recently appointed the first Minister for Loneliness. The job of Minister for Loneliness will be to find ways to reach out to lonely people. According to a study, about 200,000 elderly people in the UK haven't spoken to any friends or relatives in more than a month. Of course, loneliness doesn't only affect older people. Because our high-tech society leads to less face-to-face contact, it threatens everyone. The British government hopes this will be the first step toward reducing loneliness. 1. It was World War II, and many European cities were being destroyed. Many buildings and artwork that had great artistic and historic value were being destroyed too. So, the Monuments Men, a group of more than 300 people, was formed to protect these items. They were museum directors, historians, artists, and architects. Although they had never received basic military training, they entered dangerous war zones and performed their duties. Many group members were hurt, and others were even killed. However, their belief was strong. Cultural assets are the evidence that we have existed and developed, a group member said. He continued, "If these things are destroyed, it will be like we never existed." Even after returning from the war, many of the members continued to preserve important works. Thanks to the Monuments Men, many items of great cultural value
2.
were saved.
Anyone can easily tell a good singer from a bad singer. What exactly makes bad singers sound bad? Sometimes it is bad rhythm or the inability to remember notes. However, most bad singers sound bad because they have trouble with pitch accuracy. Researchers tried to find out why this occurs. First, they examined bad singers to check the physical condition of their throats and found that they were physically capable of singing well. Next, they checked the bad singer's hearing. The researchers originally suspected they might not be able to hear notes correctly. However, their hearing was fine. Finally, the researchers found the answer. Although bad singers could hear notes correctly, they couldn't reproduce them. Normally, when people sing a note incorrectly, their brain recognizes the mistake and automatically corrects it. This error correction didn't happen with bad singers. They made the same mistake over
3.
and over.
The Guernsey sweater, also known as a fisherman's sweater, is a good fashion choice for winter. It is made of coated wool, has a tight fit, and is covered in knitted patterns. This trendy sweater has a long history. It got its name from the British island of Guernsey. Local fishermen wore these sweaters, which were hand-knitted. Since the fishermen worked on boats year-round, they needed clothes that were both warm and comfortable. They also had to be protected from the cold water splashing across their boats. The Guernsey sweater was perfect for them because it was waterproof thanks to its coated wool. The sweater played another role too. Traditionally, each family had its own unique pattern. This was not merely for fashion. Fishing was more dangerous in the past. If a fisherman's dead body washed onto the shore, his sweater would help people
4.
identify him.
In August of 1952, a pianist sat down to give a performance. He checked his watch and waited for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Afterward, he bowed to the audience and walked away. The pianist did not seem to be doing anything, but he was actually performing a piece of music called 4 minutes 33 seconds, composed by John Cage. For 4 minutes and 33 seconds, the performer plays nothing at all. The audience was surprised. To some people, it seemed something had gone wrong. However, others were impressed because they understood what Cage wanted to tell them. Cage believed that music could be made with any sounds, including the whispers of the audience or the sound of hearts beating. He wanted the audience to hear these sounds. By having the musician play nothing, he let them do so. Nowadays, 4 minutes 33 seconds is famous for challenging the way people think about music.